Hello, it's Ed. Welcome back to the studio, and this week I am going to be shooting 35mm film in my medium format camera. So I have pulled out my old RB67, which you might have seen in previous videos. What I'm going to do is take off the 120 back, load it up with 35mm film. I have got the cheapest that I could find, this Fomapan, and I'm going to try and shoot some panoramics. There was somebody who commented on one of my previous videos. They said that they'd done it with the 220 back and got some good results, but this is a 120 back, so I'm slightly worried that putting a non-cardboard backed film, which the 135 film is, into this might not work, but we shall see. So I've taken several shots up over there on the hill and over to the reservoir, and I don't know if any of them are going to come out. I've been winding on and it's not been locking, and then on the last one I wound on and it locked. So that suggests that either it wasn't working before or it's not working now, and I've no idea which. So it could be that the first half of the roll comes out and the second half doesn't, or the second half of the roll comes out and the first half doesn't, or more likely none of it comes out. But anyway, it's just experimentation, just got to keep going, and hopefully something of use will come out of it. Okay, so moment of truth. The negatives are back from the lab. Let's see what we've got. There is definitely stuff on this film. And if you can see that, we have got something to work with. So let's get these scanned and see what the results look like. This is the first of the images that I shot, and it's a view of the hillside in Sutton. I didn't really know exactly where the film was in relation to the viewfinder. I've missed out the tops of the hills, which I was trying to get in, and focused on the vegetation at the foot of the photograph. I've not adjusted the contrast or the levels, so it's a muted set of tones. The next photo I also took at Sutton, and it's actually Bottom's Reservoir with the no swimming sign. This is closer to what I thought I was framing, but I again thought I was slightly higher up, so I wanted to get more of the sign in. I might increase the contrast slightly on this to bring out the best of the photo. The next shot is one where not knowing exactly where I was shooting is a real problem, because I was trying to shoot a field full of jumps for horses with the reservoir and a mountain in the background, and it's just rubbish, this shot. You can see up by the sprocket holes some of the jumps, but I've basically been shooting a wall in front of that field, so complete waste of film. The next is one of two vertical shots, two vertical panoramas I did. The other one didn't come out, which is a shame because it was a really nice shot of a line of tall poplar trees with the family walking away from the camera, and it was a really nice sort of balanced composition. But this one did come out, and I'm really pleased that it did. And at full resolution, you'll be able to see how much detail there is in this shot and how it's got that medium format look with the depth of field and feel of medium format film, even though it's on 35mm. So I really like this. This one again is not really a keeper, although there is something to it. And again, if I blew this up to large size and hung it on a gallery wall, you could see the textures of the road here and the potholes and the manhole covers. It's, yeah, quite a nice arty shot, but that isn't what I was trying to get. The next shot is a row of cafe bars and a view that you wouldn't be able to get with a normal aspect ratio unless you heavily cropped the frame. So this shot, you'd have seen when I was metering for it that there was a sculpture of a bee next to a sign, and I was trying to get the whole of the bee and the top of the sign. What I've actually ended up with is the bottom of the bee and the bottom of the sign, so failure in composition. This one is a picture I really like actually, and this petrol station kind of keeps featuring in my work accidentally because it's near where I get my film developed. So if I need to use a roll-up, I tend to just take a shot across the street, and it's an easy subject. But this is an angle that I've never shot before because you can't fit the whole of the garage in at this angle, except using this panoramic method, yes you can. So I've got the whole of the garage in from the little shop on the left all the way through to the car wash on the right, and you can see a bus going down the road after it. And as I was taking this shot, there was a woman walking with a big piece of cardboard or something under her arm across the front of the garage, and that I thought would make it quite interesting. I wish I'd had colour film here actually, because the yellow of the cardboard was exactly the same as the yellow of the Shell sign, and it would have been really nice in colour, but there you go, it was black and white film. I still like how this looks. One of the last pictures is a little cafe in a place called Fletcher Moss, which is a park slash sort of nature reserve. It's where the RSPB, I think, was first thought of. There's a little tea room there, and it was closed when I was passing by, but all the specials were up on boards outside. Now, normally if I'd shot this, I'd just have shot the board and there wouldn't have been the context, but because I had all this extra space in the panorama, I was able to fit the context in of the fence at one side and the stacked tables on the other side. It's really nice, and again, the way the perforations overlay, it kind of balances, actually the perforations kind of work with the stripes of the fence, and it gives it a kind of geometric, and I love geometrics, as you probably know by now. This shot, I missed where I was aiming at. It's not what I wanted, but again, I kind of like it. Okay, so I think that was a fairly successful experiment and not bad for a first attempt. If I was going to do it again, and I think I will do it again, maybe in a couple of months, not straight away, I would 3D print a top and bottom for the 35mm film cartridge to hold it securely and also to make sure that it was in the centre of the frame. I would also create a mask for the viewfinder so I could see exactly what I was shooting. But like I say, good for a first attempt. I'm still slightly concerned about the winding on and it not locking and it sort of locking sometimes. But as long as you just ignore the signs, it seems to be okay, it's not a problem. One wind seems to be exactly the right amount to take it to the next frame and not to get any overlaps, which I was concerned about. The other concern that I had was that light was going to get in, and that was partly because of the cardboard backing being absent and it being a 120 rather than a 220 holder. That didn't seem to matter, but the fact there was no cardboard backing on the film did make it hard to wind on to start with, so it's really important to make sure it's properly winding on before you put it together. Having to unload in total darkness, that wasn't a big deal actually in the end, because you can either take a dart bag with you if you're going to have to unroll the film in the field, or just go to a room that's got no windows or very good curtains and do it there. It wasn't a problem because there's no rush with it, you just take your time. In an ideal world, I'd buy an X-Pan and I'd have the lovely light little machine which does its own metering and all that auto winding and fabulous things like that. But I haven't won the lottery, so that's not going to happen. What I think I'll do next time is use colour film, because I was using the cheapest sort of black and white film I could get, and although it was nice results, I'd like to get some nice colour panoramics, and I would very much like to get some nice vertical portraits, so maybe I'd use a Portra or something like that to get a really nice medium format X-Pan-y portrait thing. But that's for another time. I've been jabbering on long enough. I think it's best to leave it now for this week, and just thank you again for liking, subscribing and helping me carry on doing this for a little bit longer. Wish you a brilliant week, and let's meet up again sometime next week for whatever comes into my mind between now and then. Have a good one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.